Welcome to our next video. We're talking about protective puts. What is a protective put? If we buy a put first, which means if we buy the right to sell something, if we buy the right to sell the underlying at a price agreed upon first, at the outset. So if we first buy a put, and second, if we buy the underlying assets underlying to this put, then we call this mixture a protective put, which means we protect our asset against downside movements. So in this way, the put is protective. The put in this way is called protective because it protects the underlying asset against downside movements. And let's consider the following. We have to pay P sub 0 at the beginning in period 0. That's the price of the put. So we pay P sub 0 and the value at expiration, at expiration is either x minus st or equal to 0. It is 0 if st is strictly superior to the exercise price, or it is x minus s sub t if it's the other way around, if it's s sub t inferior to the exercise price x, which means if we are on the left side, of the exercise price, then we get as the value of this put, we get this red line here, because let's consider it. Let's take a look at this. How come? Why is this true? Because if if the stock price is inferior to the exercise price regarding a put, concerning a put, then since we have the right to sell something, to sell the underlying, we would do it. We would do it because we can sell. We can buy the underlying for this price, and then right afterwards we can sell it. We can sell it at the price x, at the exercise price, leading to a profit, leading to this value which is strictly superior to 0. Now, that's the value of the put. If the stock price is inferior to the exercise price. If it is superior, then we will not exercise. We will not exercise because this would just lead to a loss concerning this put. Now that was the put. Second, we buy the underlying asset. We buy the asset underlying the put, meaning we have to pay upfront, we have to pay right now, we have to pay the amount S sub 0 because it's period 0. Now what happens? What happens to the asset, to the underlying asset? Nothing. I mean, nothing with regard to the put. The value of the stock is S sub t in either case. In either case, it's not dependent. The asset is not dependent, does not depend on the put. So it is this amount of money, leading to those values at period capital T, and this value at period right now, period 0. So here we have the red line indicates the value of the put. Not of the protective put, but only of the put. Now, if we consider both at the same time, the put first and the underlying asset that we bought too, we have this line, or these lines. We have the value at expiration and we have the profit. Now look at this first. The green line, the value at expiration of the entire protective put. If the stock price is inferior to the exercise price, then look at this first, look here first, we will exercise. We will exercise the right that was imminent in the put, because the put leads to the right to sell something. And if the stock price is inferior to the exercise price, it is good, and in this way it is good to sell at the exercise price, because the exercise price is higher, is superior to the because the exercise price is higher than the stock price. That's it. So we buy the stock first, and we can just resell it 1 minute afterwards, leading to a positive value. So here, if we're on the left side of the exercise price, then we will exercise the put. And still there is the underlying asset. So all in all, we have the underlying asset and we have the put leading to this value at expiration. And the profit is strictly inferior to 0, because we still had to pay for the put. We still had to pay for the put first. Now the profit rises, the value rises, so does the profit. Because if it is superior, if the stock price is strictly superior to the exercise price, we will not exercise the put. We will not exercise the put, because this would only lead to losses. But we have the asset, we have the underlying asset that will rise. Its value will rise. So this gives us a positive, a rising value at expiration, and as well a rising profit. So that's important to understand. You have to differentiate between, with regard to protective put, you have to differentiate between buying a put first and second, buying the underlying asset. You have to see the mixture of them. From this mixture, you have to see in which case we exercise the put and in which case we don't. So this will lead us to the green line, to the value at expiration of the protective put and the profit of the protective put. And last, you have to see that the value of expiration is this. So it's the value of the stock plus the value of the put. The value of protective put and the profit, whereas the profit is slightly different. It is this, because you have to subtract the value of the stock at period 0 and the value of the put, the initial price we had to pay for the put. And so the maximum profit, there is no maximum profit. There is no maximum profit here, because the value of the stock rises above all values, above all possible values. So we have plus infinity, to put it this way, for maximum profit. There is no maximum profit for a protective put. Rising values of the underlying stock are good, to put it this way, for maximum value, because the profit is going to rise above all frontiers, above all possible values. The maximum loss, there is the maximum loss indicated here, which means this one. And break even is S sub 0 plus P sub 0. Thank you for watching.